Can we, before we go, we talk about Suzanne Breen?
We will talk about Suzanne Breen.
That was the question.
That was your question. Ask your question.
You talked earlier about the growth of corporate journalism, and there seems to be, alongside that, a diminishment in investigative journalism. Now, investigative journalism is not without its risks. Veronica Guerin was murdered by those that she was investigating.
Yeah.
But more recently, we have had the most unedifying spectacle of Suzanne Breen being threatened with legal proceedings and potentially imprisonment if she refuses to reveal who her sources were while carrying out a piece of investigative journalism. Have you had any experience of this in your own career, or what are your views on a journalist's obligation to protect their sources if the sources do not want to be identified?
Yes, I've been in that position on a number of occasions where I've had to protect my sources, and I've been threatened with possible prosecution. I've never been prosecuted, but I've been threatened with it, and not in this country, elsewhere. I think the case of Suzanne Breen is very, very important. This is a journalist, Northern editor, who has done her job. Yes, the dissident groups in the IRA were in touch with her so that she could give us the news to which we have a right, that they were responsible for the recent killings. And she's interviewed these people, which she has a right to do. To prosecute her in these circumstances is to bring back the Northern Ireland of old, nothing less. And when she goes, as she's been in court, and her defense is not allowed to get a shred of the police evidence, where the detective in charge of this inquiry passes an envelope with his statement to the judge, and Suzanne Breen and her lawyers are not allowed to see any of this, and she's threatened with a possible 5-year sentence under these terrorism laws, then what that amounts to is simple intimidation. And it is the state intimidating the best kind of journalist. A journalist has a right not to give up sources for one thing. In her case, it would be personally very dangerous to do so. I think, as we were discussing earlier, they probably know anyway what has gone on, but they've decided to impose this kind of intimidation on a journalist. And I think Suzanne Breen should be supported publicly against the state.